Well, hello everyone, and welcome to our next Take Me Away virtual vacation experience. And today I'm super excited to welcome our special guest who is a true African expert. And this is all about traveling to Africa. And I'm so excited to introduce and welcome Kevin Cowie to join me today. I'm Drew Daly, your host, and Kevin's joining us for an intimate conversation on all things Africa. So Kevin, great seeing you. Love your virtual background. What is happening? Can you talk to us about traveling to Africa?
Absolutely, Drew. What an absolute pleasure it is to be here today and joining you. I really appreciate this because, Africa is absolutely one of those amazing, amazing dreamless destinations for everybody. And great news about Africa is open. And so I'm just thrilled to have this opportunity to just bring a little taste of Africa to everybody today. But most people are always asking, gee, what is a day on safari like? You can expect to be woken up really rather early in the morning because the animals early in the morning definitely are very active. So it's a great time to get out there. So it's not unusual at 5:30, 5:45, knock on the door, time for you to get up, a nice cup of tea with some beautiful, wonderful cookies or something delivered, or a cup of coffee is brought to your room. And then we all meet outside the front of the lodge, maybe around about 6 or 6:15. We go out on that morning game drive, which will last for 2.5 to 3 hours, depending on how much we're seeing. And then you're going to come back to the lodge and they're going to have full breakfast. Absolutely everything you could possibly imagine. It's truly remarkable. Food, by the way, one of the biggest surprises to everybody that travels to Africa. They're just not sure. And people tell us they are blown away by the quality of food they get everywhere in Africa. So then you'll have your breakfast, and you have a little bit of downtime. Sometimes the lodge will offer a walking safari late morning, or you might want to do a spa treatment or something like that. A lot of the lodges we work with do have small spas. And then everybody gathers again for lunch. Sometimes lunch is around the pool or in the library or something like that. And then in the afternoon will be some downtime. A lot of people maybe go back to their room. They sit out on the balcony. They have a book. They have a glass of champagne. And then right around about 3 or 3:30, we do afternoon tea. Immediately following that, we get back on those vehicles and we go out for our afternoon game drive. And that will be another 2.5 to 3 hours out in the bush looking for animals. Again, because at that time of day, they start to become much more active again. And you have that transition of bush by day into bush by night. These are two very, very different places indeed. Every evening, about 15 or 20 minutes before the sun sets, we're going to stop the vehicle. Out comes tables and chairs and tablecloths and plates and cutlery and glassware, and we stop and we pour ourselves a drink and we bid farewell to the sun. Wonderful African traditions done all over Africa. It's done every single evening. Sundowners, as we call it, a really great, wonderful experience. And then it also means that your last 30 or 35 minutes on the drive back to lodge are going to be in the dark. And as I mentioned, the bush at nighttime is very, very different. And it's remarkable what they're able to find and see in the pitch black of the bush. It's really, really amazing. Get back to lodge, a little time just to freshen up quickly, and then dinner. Big thing about this, of course, is that even though at all of the lodges that we work with, they will do it up for dinner. There'll be tablecloths and crystal and silverware and so on. This is not a dressy affair, so all the ball gowns and tiaras stay at home. Whatever you wore for the safari during the day is perfectly fine to go to dinner. But dinner could be in the living or in the lounge area of the lodge. It might be out on the lawn. To be very honest, right after dinner, some people might go and do a nightcap, but the vast majority of people go to bed because guess what? Early morning comes around very quickly, and nobody wants to miss what the next day might bring on game drive.
Well, and thank you. I loved hearing your description because it brought me back, in my only time I've been on my safari experience in Africa. And it was the exact same thing. I have to say, I was blown away with the Sundowners, enjoying the moment of tranquility. And then before you know it, the magic of the stars appear. And the stars that you can see from Africa, I've never seen anything like it. And the first night in our lodge, I was awoken at like 3 o'clock in the morning with the sound of a lion roaring. Come to find out, in breakfast the next day was only about 100 yards from where our lodge was. Is that a normal, like being, you're in the middle of the bush, right? So.
Absolutely, and it is very normal. But even if it's a mile away, the way the sound carries at nighttime and the sheer power of the roar of the lion is it carries, it feels like it's right outside your tent. It's magical. It's so cool. It's such a great experience. So the sounds of Africa at nighttime are simply amazing. I would say we all live under the same sky, but so few of us see it without air pollution or light pollution.
But so tell us, when is the best time to travel to Africa?
Africa is a massive continent. We could actually fit the United States into Africa 3 or 3.5 times.
Wow.
So we all know that, that the weather in Florida is very, very different to the weather in Wisconsin, say in February. And when we take that and multiply it by 3. So different parts of Africa, different times, good to be there. But just as a generality for South Africa, which is so popular with so many travelers, particularly first timers traveling to Africa, peak season for South Africa is from really the beginning of August through until the beginning of November. My personal pick for South Africa, May. I love May. It's a kind of a shoulder season. The rainy season is in December through until about late March, early April. So the rains have now finished. The winter season is from June, July into the beginning of August. Remember, the seasons are reversed. They are in the Southern Hemisphere. So May is just this 4 or 5 week period that sits right in the middle where the rains have finished before the winter starts. And that is absolutely perfect. And a little insider tip I will tell you for anybody that's interested in going to Victoria Falls,
Yes.
Which is, of course, one of the 7 natural wonders of the world. In May, Victoria Falls is when it really starts to get into full flood. East Africa peak period is June, July, August into September. But my personal pick for East Africa is November and December. It's actually kind of a small or a short rainy season, but it's so little, it really doesn't affect anybody. You might get a little downpour every day or every other day, 15 to 20 minutes.
Highly recommend for all of you out there. So make sure you talk to your travel advisor about what specials, what deals, what itineraries are available. So Kevin, let's kind of go into more details or describe for us a true African safari experience.
We always encourage everybody to spend maybe 2 or 3 days, go to Cape Town. Cape Town, one of the top cities in the world right now for people to visit, one of the top 3 cities in the world for foodies. The restaurant scene in Cape Town is so vibrant. So you actually have this kind of city experience, which is very, very cool. It's also it's a stunningly beautiful city, surrounded on 3 sides by water, iconic Table Mountain in the background, and so on. So you have the city visit before you actually even go out and do the safari experience.
Depending upon your itinerary, there are luggage restrictions on airplanes.
Yes, there are. So particularly in places like Kenya, Tanzania, and down in Botswana, where you're doing the smaller bush flights. Yes, there are restrictions. They do really prefer that you do only soft-sided luggage. It's a duffel bag or something like that. Lay out on your bed what you think you're going to take, immediately cut it in half, and then probably cut it in half again. And actually, a little tip on packing that I like to give people is don't pack polo shirts. T-shirts are great because polo shirts, when you pack them, they're actually quite thick. You can get 2 or even 3 T-shirts in the space of 1 polo shirt.
What a great tip. I love learning something new. So thank you. Now tell us, who is right for an African safari adventure? Is there a specific consumer? What does it look like?
Well, the super easy answer to that is African safari is for everybody. We customize everything. So it matters not how you like to travel. If you have a preference in the way you want to travel, if you have a preference in the style of accommodation that you like, we're able to make that happen for you. It's great for families. And the other great thing that's wonderful about Africa is people will often say, well, I'm older now. I don't move around so much. Is this a good thing for me? Absolutely it is. Because unlike a trip to many other parts of the world, specifically somewhere like Europe, where, you're doing a lot of museums, a lot of castles, a lot of cathedrals, things like that, walking on cobblestones. That's not the case when you go on safari. You're in a vehicle, you're being driven everywhere, you're seeing the animals from the comfort of the vehicle. So it's not a lot of walking at all. It's actually it's much, much less activity than almost any other vacation that I can think of.
That's awesome. It's a big milestone bucket list type vacation experience, those milestone birthdays, anniversaries, honeymoons.
Africa is a life-changing experience.
So what about safety and health protocols in the current environment?
So the great news here is, first and foremost, Africa is open. Now, like anywhere else in the world, they have had spikes, they have had their moments, But in general, they have been open for quite some time now and have remained open. This is not Africa's first go around with infectious disease. So a lot of these protocols were already there. And Africa has open spaces in spades. It just delivers on this part.
Right.
Totally. Everybody you meet has a bottle of hand sanitizer with them. They were handing out masks everywhere. They were handing out wipes everywhere. Luggage is being sanitized every time it moves.
And that's why it's always important to speak to your travel advisor about what those protocols are, just so you're prepared. What does availability look like for 2022 and beyond?
There is still availability for 2021. If anybody's looking for somewhere.
So 2021 is still open.
Absolutely. 2022, I'm going to be very honest with you, is starting to look as though it could become quite tight. There is still available, but this is a trip that you want to plan 9 to 12 months in advance anyway. And because we do it with a travel advisor, so when you're doing a travel advisor and they're partnering with somebody like us that is making it easy for you, it truly is fun planning this trip to Africa for you. It's a great way to do it. We are already booking 2023 as well, so not too soon to look at 2023 already as well.
So how important to you and your brand is a travel advisor to helping consumers make the right decision for their African adventure?
Extremely important. In fact, Drew, it's so important that we don't sell directly to the public. We don't do any marketing. You will naturally never see our company advertised in Condé Nast or something like that, because we truly believe in the value that the travel advisor brings to the table. When it comes time to planning something, they already know all about you. So you don't have to start at the beginning with a company like ours and say, well, this is what I want, and try and hope that somebody understands it, and hope we get it right, and so on. Your advisor already knows, and they can give us great examples of things that you've done before. Travel advisors are very privy to things that come across their desk, special offers, special trips, and so on. And if they're very familiar with you, they can go and they say, this would be perfect for Mrs. Smith. Absolutely wonderful. And you may never see that product in the public marketplace at all, but your travel advisor knows it and can call you up and say, have I got the trip for you?
For now, I know there's a lot of questions coming in, so make sure to reach out to your travel advisor to talk to them about your specific travel needs as it relates to Africa or anywhere you're looking to go. But let's talk about the elephant in the room, if we don't mind. And I don't mean you or I or the elephants on your virtual background. There is a myth about pricing, and that Africa is going to be so expensive and people just don't even explore it because they already assume it's going to be out of their budget.
I always like to say that we can do a 5-star trip to South Africa, for example, or Tanzania and East Africa, which is just going to blow your socks off. Absolutely amazing. For about the same price that you will pay for a moderate to nice trip to Hawaii. And you still will have your champagne, and you're still going to have an amazing experience in these 5-star accommodations. And that's the thing. We're not talking about, making you sleep in some kind of Boy Scout tent with a cot and a cooler at the side of you or something. Everything we do is at that 5-star level. This is luxury, but it's certainly not the price point that so many people think that it's going to be. So definitely speak to your travel advisor. You're going to be pleasantly surprised about what we can do for you. And then when you come back, you're going to go, wow, it was worth that and way times more for such an amazing experience.
Now is the time to talk to your travel advisor about all things related to Africa and talk about the special deals or learn more about the special deals, pricing, promotions, or itineraries as it relates to your next African safari. Kevin, thank you so much for joining me today and talking about all things Africa. We really value your time and most of all, your expertise. Any parting words of wisdom?
Drew, what an absolute pleasure it has been. Thank you so much. I am extraordinarily passionate about Africa. I am originally from Africa myself, by the way, from Zambia, Central Southern Africa. And I can only say that, I know that word life-changing is used by so many people, but you yourself are testament to the truth of that. And I always say when you go on vacation, everybody has an expectation. Some people, it might be sort of here, it should be up here somewhere. But when you come back from Africa, it blew those expectations out of the water. So I thank you for allowing me to bring a taste of Africa today. And we can't wait to welcome everybody to this amazing destination.
You are welcome. I love that. A taste of Africa. So we can't wait to help you plan and get you on your next African adventure. Make sure to reach out to your travel advisor today. And thanks for tuning in to our Take Me Away, a virtual vacation experience. Have a great day. Thanks again, Kevin.